Hello everyone, and welcome to the IMA webinar on how to become a laser technician. My name is Servan Colette. I'm the director for this training center, and I would like to offer this webinar alongside Mr. Milton D'Souza, our course manager. Let's tell you a little bit more about IMA. We were established in 2011 in Dubai Healthcare City. We are nearly 10 years old and we remain the biggest training center in the region specialized in medical aesthetics. We are also known as the #1 provider specifically for laser training. We work in affiliation with the NCLC, which is the recognized and accredited body by the health authorities here in Dubai to become a laser technician. We train nurses, beauty therapists, and doctors. Myself, I have 10-year experience in the medical aesthetic training market, and Mr. Milton D'Souza has advised over 500 aesthetic specialists like yourself to change their careers. So today's agenda, what is the objective of our webinar? We wanted to create this webinar in order for our clients like nurses, beauticians, physicians to get more information and precise information on how to become a laser technician. We often get a lot of questions about the regulations, about the requirements. So this will hopefully answer all of those questions for you, including what is a laser technician, who can and cannot be a laser technician, what are the job opportunities in UAE and the salaries, how can you train, how can you get a license, and how to get started. So let us start with the first section of this webinar, which is the job itself. It's very important for you to understand what this job will entail, since potentially this is a change of career for you. So what is exactly a laser technician? It's a licensed professional who generally works under the supervision of a medical doctor in a medical clinic after completing training, using a cosmetic laser for hair removal procedures only. Here, it's very important to understand that the laser technician does work under supervision of a medical doctor and that the laser technician is focusing solely on hair removal procedures. Laser technician is a term for a profession which is used by the Dubai Health Authority, DHA, Ministry of Health, MOH, and Department of Health. What are the indications that a laser technician can address? Laser hair removal, as we mentioned, and IPL hair removal. What are the differences? An IPL is intense pulsed light, and it is not a laser, strictly speaking. Laser hair removal would include lasers like Nd:YAG, diode laser, and Alexandrite lasers. Depending which clinic you are working for, the clinic may either have all of those technologies or may have only one of the above. So what is a laser therapist? Laser therapist is a different term which is used to describe a professional working with lasers in cosmetic clinics. And it refers to professionals who are trained in the utilization of lasers, and they use laser technology for clinical or cosmetic purposes for which they have training. This will include hair removal and skin and body rejuvenation. This is the main difference compared to the laser technician who is only using hair removal procedures. So the laser therapist is also skilled and trained to perform skin and body rejuvenation under the supervision of a plastic surgeon or dermatologist. In the United Arab Emirates, this profession is mainly used by the Dubai Healthcare City, DHCC. So what are the responsibilities of a laser therapist? As we previously mentioned with the laser technicians, there is laser and IPL hair removal, but also lasers and energy-based devices for aesthetic applications. For example, non-ablative lasers, radio frequency, IPL, ultrasound, near-infrared, and diode. So who can be a laser technician? The eligible professions in the UAE to become a laser technician are the registered nurses, the beauty therapists, and the medical doctors. You need to have a valid degree in one of those three areas in order to proceed forward and be considered for a license as a laser technician. If you do not meet any of those three professional categories, you might still be eligible to perform a training with IMA and to learn the skills, and maybe you can apply them in another country outside the UAE, but you are unlikely to be able to work legally in the UAE. These are the latest guidelines which were published as of 2016 in the UAE. So here, these are the DHA guidelines, Dubai Health Authority. It's confirming what I've just explained in a little bit more detail. So we can see that the dermatologists and the plastic surgeons do not require training. So if any of you listening to this webinar fall into this category, you are, strictly speaking, allowed to go ahead and perform laser procedures without additional training. However, we do have a large number of dermatologists, especially, who decide to take the training in order to expand their skills, update their knowledge, and get a credible credential as well. Family medicine doctors, internal medicine doctors, and endocrinologists can perform laser procedures without supervision, but with training. Then we have the nurses and the beauticians who must have a training and must work under supervision. And who cannot be a laser technician? So I've already mentioned that if you don't fall in these professional categories, you would not be able to work legally in the UAE. So as an example, we often get requests from pharmacists, from dentists, from those without any healthcare diplomas, or any other profession not listed previously. If you do fall in one of these categories, you can do the laser hair removal training, but you will not be able to work officially in the UAE as per today's guidelines. Guidelines are ever changing, so it is important that you keep in touch with the latest guidelines published by the authorities. Go in person to discuss your case with the health authorities to confirm exactly your eligibility. So once again, we can see here that the laser technician on the left side would be performing laser hair removal on the legs, for example. The laser therapist would be performing laser skin rejuvenation as on the face. So what are the job opportunities? Of course, if you are considering to take a training with IMA in the field of lasers, this is because you want to upgrade your career and have more job opportunities for yourself in the future. What is important for you to know as of today, this webinar is recorded in December 2020, that laser technicians are in very high demand in the UAE in 2020. This year, we have experienced a very high demand for nurses and beauticians to be trained and certified in this field. And we also have clinics who are contacting us on a very regular basis to ask us if we can refer qualified laser technicians to them. So if you are in the UAE and you're eligible to become a laser technician, I would really encourage you to consider this, because there are real job opportunities in the market at the moment. And as we will discuss very shortly, the salary opportunities are also very attractive, and they are more and more attractive as the years go by. So the salary prospects in UAE dirhams, please do bear in mind that these are indicative figures only, and salaries do vary a lot depending on your experience, sometimes on your nationality, on the employer, and on many other factors. So if you do not have any experience and you are a nurse, you can look at the red curve. Your salary might start at 4,000 dirhams in the UAE. As you are building up experience, you can go from 4 to 5 to 6,000 dirhams as a nurse, as a regular nurse in any specialty. If you are a laser technician and you are doing hair removal, you can hope to start your salary at least 5,000 dirhams. But after 1 year experience, this should go up already to 7,500 dirhams, or maybe even a little bit more, and then all the way up to 9,000, 10,000, and potentially more. The more you have a track record of experience and you have a good track record of patient retention, your salary will keep going up. And finally, the laser therapists, their starting salary is much higher, as 8,000 dirhams, because they are able to perform hair removal, but also skin rejuvenation. So your range of services is broader and more profitable for the clinics. After 1 year, your salary will go up to around 10,000 dirhams, and then you can hope to go up all the way up to 15,000 as an experienced laser therapist. So what are the salary models? The figures which I've given you can be a fixed salary, or there could be a fixed salary plus incentives. What do we mean by incentives? These are commissions that you get based on the number of patients that you have, therefore based on the revenue that you bring for the clinic. So for example, let's say your salary is 8,000 dirhams. The clinic might tell you once you reach 4 times your salary, so 32,000 dirhams of revenue, you will be eligible for 5 or 10% of that sum extra on your salary. It really varies. Some clinics will offer you percentage based on the overall revenue that you bring for the clinic in that month, or they might just say once you reach 50,000 dirhams, you will get 2%, 3%, 5%. This really depends. So the clinic is trying to motivate you to have more patients and to retain your patients. Because you have to remember that in the cosmetic industry, patients are also behaving like clients. So your job is very important to retain the patient and make sure they keep coming back. So let us look at how to get trained. Here again, we have a screenshot of the guidelines by the Dubai Health Authority and the Ministry of Health and the Dubai Department of Health, which is in Abu Dhabi. So for the laser hair reduction technician, it is important that you are registered as a nurse, assistant nurse, or beauty therapist. And we've circled in red that you have successfully completed an accredited laser training course for hair reduction. Our course, of course, is accredited. Also, we have circled in red that you should have this training from the National Council on Laser Certification, who is our official partner here at IMA. Okay. NCLC, who is NCLC? It's an American organization specializing specifically in lasers, and they are approved by the health authorities here in UAE as being the accreditor for your certification as a laser operator. So NCLC has an exam which you have to pass, which you will be taking here at IMA, and it's a 3-hour exam by the NCLC. If you pass it, you will get certified from NCLC, and IMA will deliver that certificate on their behalf. Here it's a little bit more extensive, but you can see that these are the training requirements and the specific topics and areas of knowledge that you need to have in order to be a laser technician. We will not go through this in detail, but you can listen to this webinar anytime and just review the content. So you should be familiar with the anatomy and physiology of the skin and hair, the layers of the skin and hair disorders, laser sciences, laser history, so on and so on. Let us look at hands-on cases. So what do we mean by hands-on? Hands-on means that you will be doing practical training with live patients. Your hands will be active, you will work with the patient. So this is called hands-on. Cases means that these are different treatments, procedures that you are performing, which are recorded. So you will be able to build a logbook, which has extreme professional value to prove to the authorities and to your next employer that you have already worked with patients and you have already performed a number of treatments before working. So in the IMA laser course, we give you 10 cases. So in the 2 days training, you will perform at least 10 cases, but actually we will give you 20. The minimum set by the health authorities is 10. And this is how the case logbook looks like. So it will have your handwriting and you will write the details of all the patients that you have treated in our training under supervision. We will stamp this sheet and we will give it back to you. So also as part of the requirements for our training, you have to do an online course. It's accessible from your computer, your tablet, or your phone, and you can access it at any time, 24 hours a day, whenever you have spare time in your schedule to study. So you will have access to lectures with audio sound, and you will have small online quizzes. Every time you pass the quiz, you go to the next section. In the online course, we also have a PDF book, which is 220 pages, which is very useful for you to have additional readings and expand your knowledge even further. And all the slides which are presented in the online course also will be given out to you. Next is the hands-on training, which is the most popular part of our course. You will be doing this under the supervision of our laser therapist, and she will teach you how to operate the laser devices and how to deliver the treatment to the patients. So what are the indications that you will learn with IMA? For example, laser skin rejuvenation, if you're doing the laser therapist course, chest hair removal for men, bikini hair removal for women, legs hair removal for women, skin tightening treatments like cellulite, especially for women, and arms hair removal, underarms or forearms, whatever the patient demands, we will be teaching this. So again, let us review the differences between the laser technician course and the laser therapist course. So the laser technician course is only for hair removal, and this will take 2 days only to study. You have the online course first, but you have 2 days at IMA, which is always on a Sunday and on a Monday. Our laser training is taking place every month, usually the second week of the month, on a Sunday and on a Monday. So you will have probably to take some time off from your employment in order to attend the course from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you're doing the laser therapist course, you have 5 full days to attend, the Sunday and the Monday, as well as Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The program is more extensive as we will cover more indications. What are the laser technologies that you will learn to work with? We briefly mentioned this at the start of the webinar, such as alexandrite lasers, diode lasers, intense pulse light, and YAG. We have all of these technologies at IMA, non-ablative lasers, radio frequency, and ultrasound. This is one of the important aspects of choosing to train with IMA is you can be assured that you will be working with lots of different technologies, and this can prepare you for the various technologies that your clinic might have. Not all clinics have these technologies. Next is the exam, which is, as I've mentioned, with the National Council on Laser Certification. You can sit it at IMA. It's in the evening after your course from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It will be multiple choice questions, 100 questions that you have to answer in the space of 3 hours. And then the most exciting part is receiving your certificates. We have a sample certificate here. This is the one from the NCLC, which will certify you as a laser operator in aesthetics or in laser operator in hair removal. The certificate from NCLC is valid for 3 years. And after that, you have to recertify by showing some CMEs and paying a small recertification charge. We have a support group via WhatsApp. So once you complete the laser course, we will be adding you to this WhatsApp group, which will be connecting you to all the qualified laser technicians that we have trained in the UAE and in the region. It will be extremely helpful for you to just ask any questions and get some guidance. Getting licensed. So how do you get your license? In the UAE, we have different number of licensing authorities. Dubai Healthcare City, Dubai Health Authority, Department of Health, and Ministry of Health. DHCC and DHA are the 2 licensing authorities if you work in Dubai. If you work in Al Ain, for example, or Abu Dhabi, it will be the Department of Health. If you work in Sharjah or Ajman, for example, it will be the Ministry of Health. You can Google those health authorities and you can find some information, speak to them online through live chat, or go there in person to get more information. These are the guidelines that we posted before about becoming a laser hair reduction technician from those authorities. This is just a screenshot from the Dubai Health Authority, where you can see that they are publishing standards. The latest one we found is from 2016. It's a very interesting document to get, and you can find it on Google and their website. Here, it's a document called the Unified Healthcare Professional Qualification Requirements. It's issued by Ministry of Health, Department of Health, and Dubai Health Authority. It's unified because those three health authorities are following now the same guidelines. Here we would like to show you how you can find these kind of documents and guidelines online. So if you go on Google and you type DHA laser guidelines, you will see that you will find a link to the DHA website, the first one usually. DHA is Dubai Health Authority. Click on this. It's a PDF document which will download. It will come up in the bottom left of your screen. You can click on this and you will then be able to download the document as on the screen here. And you can just go through it, read the various guidelines. If you're looking for a specific type of information, you can do Control F, Control Find, type that word. For example, license or training, and you can go to that particular section. Okay, this document is also available with us. If you would like to contact us after the webinar, we can send it to you. So the licensing, once you have met all the requirements, you will be issued with a license card. Before getting your license card, do not forget that also you have a short oral exam to do directly with the health authorities. And the licensing now is all done online, and ultimately they will give you a card, which will be your license card. And we at IMA do not give licensing advice. This is an important question. In this webinar, we are giving you some guidelines, but we are not the licensing body. So we can only advise you, but ultimately that information needs to be validated from the health authorities since they tend to change very regularly. Getting started. So how to get started and to perform, to finally start this new profession, I will hand over this presentation now to my colleague, Mr. Milton de Souza, who will be talking you through these requirements.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this webinar. My name is Milton de Souza, and I'm the course manager here at IMA. So I just want to go over a few steps on how to get started with your laser course if you're looking to make a switch into this new field. Let's go over some points. So one important one is goal setting. As you can see, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I'm going to go into more detail on how you can actually plan step by step, how long it would take for you to become a laser tech or a laser therapist. So, good question here. Why are you doing the course? Why are you making a switch? Is it money? Is it happiness? Is it both? You have to think about this because it's a major step that most practitioners are taking, getting into a new field. Sometimes it might be a little bit intimidating or scary when you think of it, because you're entering a new space. So this is why it's good to do your research and have good reasons as to why you're making this decision or taking this step. So let's go over the journey. How does a person become a laser therapist? How do you plan? Where do you start? This is, I think, a big question for everyone, for all practitioners. So this is what the typical journey looks like, right? You initially start with budgeting. You have to look at the course that's going to benefit you the most. We obviously all have commitments, and therefore we need to plan our finances accordingly. Once you are sure and you're able to make your first payment, then you will get access to your online module. So if you look at the first step was budgeting, the second one would be to start your online module. So I've gone ahead and put a timeline. So if you could see 20th October, it would take you approximately 2 to 3 weeks to complete your online module. And this depends on your on your schedule. Obviously, you have different work shifts, and you have different everyone has their own sort of commitments. So depending on that, I would say the typical client that we have takes about 2 to 3 weeks, to finish the online course. After that, after you do the online course, you then have to look at, coming for the hands-on. So these are different courses. For a laser technician, there is a 2 days hands-on on live patients that is done. And for the laser therapist, it is a 5 days, hands-on on live patients, followed by an exam, right? So if you look at the journey, we started budgeting on 20th October as an example, right? And by 15th December, let's say you've completed your hands-on and your exam. It generally takes about a month, I would say, to get the results, right? So if you look at it, let's say you get your exam results just a month after your course, you have to give yourself about 2 weeks to begin making your license application to DHA, right? This is most of our clients are within the DHA region, so we're using them as the example. And then give it about 2 weeks in order for you to have your DHA oral exam scheduled. Once you successfully pass this oral exam, you will then have your license issuance, which takes about another 2 weeks, right? So if you look at a typical, start, let's say 20th of October, you'd finish end of January. So that's a couple of months. So I created this just to give you an idea. If you're looking at this new career and if you have a plan in mind, you know when to start, because this is realistically how long it actually takes, right, to complete your course and to get licensed. So let's look at the next slide in terms of investment of training, right? So we'll start with the smallest, I would say, investment would be the online course. The online course, it does serve as an excellent foundation to lasers. And while it is comprehensive, it's not enough to meet the guidelines to officially work and become a laser therapist or a technician in the UAE. Hands-on courses and examinations are needed to meet the requirements. So our laser technician course starts at 6,500 approximately. And when I'm discussing this amount, this includes the online, the hands-on, and the exam. And the laser technician, as discussed earlier by my colleague Sarban, the laser technician focuses on just hair removal, right? And then we've got the laser therapist course, which is actually 10,700. That includes hair removal and the aesthetic procedures, so skin tightening, skin resurfacing, right, scar treatment, etc. So that course is the most comprehensive course that we have. So the laser therapist course includes the online, the 5 days hands-on, and the examination fee, right? There is no separate fee besides that. So you would need to choose your investment based on your goals, right? If you are looking at offering just hair removal to patients, then the technician course is, of course, fine. But if you are looking at the whole range of procedures of lasers that you would like to offer patients, you should consider the laser therapist course. Obviously, offering a higher range of procedures means you are looking at a substantial increase in income because the aesthetic procedures obviously cost more to patients, right? So that directly affects your income. So let's look at the challenges, right? The key challenges, as we have put it. So every practitioner that's looking at entering the aesthetic market, will obviously face, the obvious challenges. The first one is a budget. Budget constraints are faced by all practitioners, and many are unfortunately not aware of the different kinds of training that is being offered in the market. So you have to, look at obviously, what you are paying for, what you are getting, right? Our courses are priced well when we consider that what training is being provided. There are many factors that come into play. Will you be able to practice on live patients? Will you learn how to assess a patient properly and advise them? When deciding on spending on a course, please take these factors into consideration because this is going to affect ultimately how well you can do your job as a laser therapist and ultimately how much you will earn. So you also have to look at, does the course have an online module? Now our courses, they have an online module because there is so much of theory that is required to be completed in order for you to be confident in lasers, that an online module is what we feel works best. Because you are busy practitioners, you cannot afford to take many days off from a clinic. Therefore, the online module will help you with having a good, strong foundation. And then, of course, you would come and learn the hands-on with us at the clinic. Another key, I would say factor is your certification local or is it international? Now, our certification is from the US, and we know that US credentials are seen as superior. This is well known, in this market and worldwide. Um, a US credential will also be helpful if you are looking to migrate and move to another country and you want an international credential, so you don't have to go and do a course again if you do decide to migrate to the US or to Canada or to Australia, etc. We have gone ahead and made our hands-on as concise as possible. So we do cover it in 2 days. This is obviously keeping you in mind. We understand that as a nurse, as a medical practitioner, it's not so easy to get many days off, from your clinic. So you are able to complete the hands-on in 2 days for a laser tech and 5 days for a laser therapist, right? As discussed earlier, some of the challenges are with transitioning to lasers. It does take time. You initially have to start out, and you start with a few clients. But once you do have a good client base, you will be doing well. We have so many nurses that have become successful laser therapists, and they were, let's say, formerly just regular nurses. So it does take time, like anything else, but you can become successful. Finding a job, thankfully, is one of the best parts about getting into the field of lasers. There is a major shortage of certified laser therapists in the UAE. This is well known. It was also discussed by my colleague Sarvan earlier. So it's less challenging to find a job. We constantly get many requests from medical directors looking for laser technicians, and we're always happy to connect you, with them. We also have a WhatsApp group where there are many job postings, and obviously, you being one of our clients, you have access to that WhatsApp group, and you will be able to apply to those jobs when they are posted. So let's look at selecting a course. There's obviously a few options when it comes to UAE or Dubai when it comes to lasers, right? So let's look at what should you look for when you're selecting a course. So the first I would say would be the duration, right? How long is the course? Does it have online and hands-on, and how is that split? If it is a hands-on course, do you have some material provided that you can review before the course? This is very important. Then let's look at the faculty. How about the faculty? What are their credentials? How many years of experience does the faculty have? Do they focus on safety, right? Accreditation, this is a big one. Is the course accredited by local authorities? Very important for you to know. And how many practitioners has the institute graduated, right? Look at those numbers because they're important for you. Course reviews. Try to speak with some of the clients, existing clients that have done the course, and that's how you would know, what exactly was their experience. Did they have a positive experience? We have also group sizes. How big are the groups when it comes to hands-on training? This is important because a very big group, it's difficult to manage a big group when it comes to hands-on, which is why we limit our groups to small group sizes, and this ensures that every practitioner will be practicing on live patients, right? For lasers, this is important. What about the machines? Are you being trained on the latest machines in the market? As a practitioner entering a new field, you need to obviously also have the support, right? What is the course support like? Are you in touch with your trainers and your colleagues after the course is completed, right? Um, International versus local certificates. I think I covered this earlier. Obviously, international certificates have a much bigger advantage. They are always seen, as superior in terms of training. And then, of course, the costs. What are you, whatever you are paying, what are you getting in return for it, right? Something that we discussed earlier. So in terms of the equipment, as I mentioned, the machines, you want to make sure that you are trained on the most latest machines because this is going to affect when you are being hired. A medical director will want to know if you are aware of working the most latest machines with the latest technology. And this is why we work so hard to make sure that we always have the newest machines available for your training. Right? So some of the other resources that we have is you can visit our website. which is www.imadubai.com. You can look at the whole range of courses that we have. We also have very interesting information on our blog that covers information on even careers for laser training and also the different procedures that we teach. Our Instagram is constantly updated. We provide important insights related to the aesthetic industry and information on different aesthetic procedures that can be done by medical practitioners such as nurses, beauty therapists, and doctors as well. We then have YouTube, a great channel actually, because we've uploaded and we continuously upload many videos. Some of them are quite instructional, and they do cover a bit of how you prepare a patient for lasers, what sort of advice you can give a patient, and these are free resources that are quite, I would say, beneficial to you. So what's unique about our course? I would say the first, the one that's very important is that we are providing an international course, which is done in partnership with NCLC, which is the National Council on Laser Certification. This is widely accepted in many countries. Definitely helpful, as I mentioned, if you want to migrate in the future as well. And we've got clients that have moved to the US, to Canada, and have successfully used our credential. The online course, it's got over 17 modules that is covered in the laser aesthetic training. I've had many clients that have great reviews for the online course because it is constantly updated. And this is very important, especially in such a field that's moving and that's evolving so quickly. We've got our post-course support, and this one is excellent. Once you complete the course, we keep you connected through WhatsApp with our trainers. And these WhatsApp groups are used to share ideas, job opportunities. If you've got a complicated patient and need some advice on how to maybe combine protocols, you can use these WhatsApp groups. Our trainers are experienced and very enthusiastic and always willing to help practitioners like you who are getting into the field. So we obviously always share all the tips and tricks. We never hold back. The goal, is to ensure that you become a successful laser therapist or a technician. And I would say that we always stand by that. And our success is measured by your success. So the better that you do, we know that we've done our job. So if you've got any questions with regards to any of the courses, you can see my number on the screen. I am available on WhatsApp, 97156-484-2587. You can give me a call or you can send me a message if you have any questions, and I'll be more than happy to advise you and to help you. Thank you for joining this webinar. I look forward to speaking with you.